but thou art strong. Jesus, keep me from all wrong. I'll be satisfied as long as I walk. Let me walk close to thee.
Whoa! Yeah!
Broad, flexible brown hand.
I never knew my great-grandfather personally, but I feel like I've known him my whole life because of the stories my mother has told me when I was little. Because of the stories that all of you have told, his legacy still lives on, and I hope to be as kind and as good as he was someday. And I will make sure that the legacy of his kindness and hard work will live on through me.
Soy un pobre venadito que habita en la serranía. Soy un pobre venadito que habita en la serranía. Como no soy tan mansito, no bajo al agua de día, de noche poco a poquito y a tus brazos, vida mía. Quisiera ser perla fina de tus lúcidos aretes. Quisiera ser perla fina de tus lúcidos aretes. Para darte de besitos y morderte los cachetes. Quien te manda a ser bonita, que hasta a mí me comprometes. Le dije a una muy bonita que si me lavaba un paño. Le dije a una muy bonita que si me lavaba un paño.
Corazón de melón, 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 melón. Corazón, corazón de melón, 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 melón. Corazón. Luna, desde que la conocí, no hago más que pensar en ella, en ella. En ella, corazón de melón, 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 corazón, corazón.
Han nacido en mi rancho dos arbolitos. Dos arbolitos que parecen gemelos, y desde mi casita los veo solitos, bajo el amparo santo en la luz del cielo. Nunca están separados uno del otro, porque así quiso Dios que los dos nacieran. sus mismas ramas se hacen caricias, como si fueran novios que se quisieran. Arbolito, arbolito, bajo tu sombra voy a esperar que el día cansado muera. Y cuando estoy solito mirando al cielo, pido pa' que me mande una compañera. Arbolito, arbolito, me siento solo. Quiero que me acompañes hasta que
When I think of Pop-Up, the memories that come to mind are memories of dancing with him at weddings and different family parties, him laughing and joking at our Christmas Eve gathering that we would have every year, coming home after school and finding him asleep on the recliner with some sort of old Western movie on, probably starring Clint Eastwood or someone like that. But the memories that are the most vivid and the ones that I probably cherish the most have been the memories of him working on the farm, seeing him working hard and taking care of various tasks that needed to be done, probably with the cowboy hat on. And so when I was praying about what verse I wanted to read or what I would say about Pop-Up, this is what came to mind. It comes out of Ecclesiastes. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. And I was just thinking, how fitting that is. He was a farmer and he knew the seasons. He knew when it was time to plant something, when it was time to reap what he had sowed, and he always knew exactly what needed to be done in that season. And as a family, we're entering into a completely different season without him, one that has been extremely challenging. And I think although we are all entering this time of mourning, I take such a great peace knowing that he is now in a season of rest. He's happy. And there's no doubt in my mind that he's with his brothers talking and enjoying and laughing. And he's probably already curled up on God's recliner and watched some old Westerns with a big man, no doubt in my mind. I can totally picture it. And, when I was little, we had a saying. Something that we would do was almost like a ritualistic greeting every time I saw him. And it went something like this. Hi, Pop-Up. It's nice to see you, Pop-Up. I love you, Pop-Up. It's nice to have a Pop-Up, Pop-Up. It's something we said every time, coming and going, and looking at the times and the season and the changing of the season, I think it's only fitting that we adjust that as well. So, goodbye, Pop-Up. I miss you, Pop-Up. I love you, Pop-Up. It was wonderful to have you as my Pop-Up.
So, I never thought that Pop-Up would be gone one day. Growing up, he always looked the same with his gray hair and his green eyes. And every time I think of Pop-Up, I think of the farm and growing up and playing in the cotton and feeding the scary rabbits with their red eyes and the goats nibbling at our clothes. I also think about his time when he was a bus driver and how he really loved his job and he loved those students, and I think maybe that's where I started loving teaching, from watching Pop-Up with his students on his bus. One memory I always have of Pop-Up is him watching his cowboy shows at our house, and he'd come over and take care of Kendra and I, and he'd fall asleep watching cowboy movies and shows, and he'd get up and make us lunch. He'd make us taquitos, the frozen ones, and he'd fry them on the stove, and then that's what we'd have for lunch, and I still love them that way. And Aunt Mandy asked me to think of a Bible verse. For Pop-Up, and I think of Proverbs 22:6, and it says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." And I think Pop-Up did a wonderful job throughout his life, training us in the way that we should go and being an example of what hard work looks like. So thank you, Pop-Up, for loving us and showing us what someone who is a hard worker is, and training us in how to be hard workers. And I will miss him forever.
Growing up on the Vasquez farm, every day after school I would come home to greet Papa by holding his hand, kissing his cheek, and telling him about my day. While away at college, I had the opportunity to read a story called Neighbor Rossiki by Willa Cather. It pulled at my heartstrings because it resonated with me and my childhood at the farm. With Papa's recent passing, I was reminded of this story and decided I would try to relay the feelings I had reading it and its connection to the love that I have for Papa. The quote reads, "But Polly sat still, thinking hard. It was as if Rossiki had a special gift for loving people, something that was like an ear for music or an eye for color. It was quiet, unobtrusive. It was merely there. You saw it in his eyes. Perhaps that was why they were merry. You felt it in his hands, too." After he dropped off to sleep, she sat holding his warm, broad, flexible brown hand. She had never seen another in the least like it. Nearly all the farmers she knew had huge lumps of fists, like mauls, or they were knotty and bony and uncomfortable looking, with stiff fingers. But Rossiki's wasn't nervous. It wasn't a stupid lump. It was a warm, brown human hand, with some cleverness in it, a great deal of generosity, something nimble and lively and sure, in the way that animals are. Polly remembered that hour long afterwards, it had been like an awakening to her. It seemed to her that she had never learned so much about life, from anything, as from old Rossiki's hand. It brought her to herself. It communicated some direct and untranslatable message. Quote ends. I am thankful that the nurses were there to hold Papa's hand through it all, and hopefully saw what I saw in the creases. I know you, I've walked with you once upon a dream. I know you, the gleam in your eyes is so familiar a gleam. Yet I know it's true that visions are seldom all they seem. But if I know you, I know what you'll do. You'll love me at once, the way you did once upon a dream. Do 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 do.
Sorry it took me a while to get this together, family. But I did it, finally. I just wanted to share one of my favorite stories about my dad. It's one that always cracks me up, but I needed him to sign a permission slip one time for a field trip. And my mom signed it, and I said, Dad, you know, I want to go on this field trip. And straightest face ever, my dad says, no, no, no. The last time I signed something, they sent me to Korea. So that's my dad. But I miss him terribly, and you know, he and I couldn't be in a room together without having some kind of an argument. But at the heart of it, there was always love and humor, and if you guys know my dad, he always wanted to leave you with a smile. So in that effort and in that spirit, I found a clip that I think would best summarize his and mine relationship for you. And it'll be a nice way to close things off and to leave you smiling like my dad would want. And a couple of other little quips there that I'm sure will brighten your day. Thanks for watching.
And rescue a princess just so Farquhar to give you back a swamp, which you only don't have because he filled it full of freaks in the first place. Is that about right?
You know what? Maybe there's a good reason donkeys shouldn't talk.
I don't get it, Shrek. Why don't you just pull some of that ogre stuff on him? You know, throttle him, lay siege to his fortress, grind his bones to make you bread. You know the whole ogre trip.
Oh, I know what. Maybe I could have decapitated an entire village and put their heads on a pike, got a knife, cut open their spleen and drink their fluids. Does that sound good to you?
No, not really, no.
For your information, there's a lot more to ogres than people think.
Example?
Example? Okay, ogres are like onions.
They stink?
Yes. No.
Oh, they make you cry?
No.
Oh, you leave them out in the sun, they get all brown, start sprouting little white hairs.
No. Layers. Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. You get it. We both have layers.
Oh, you both have layers. Oh. You know, not everybody likes onions. Cake! Everybody loves cakes. Cakes have layers.
I don't care what everyone likes. Ogres are not like cakes.
You know what else everybody like? Parfaits. Have you ever met a person you say, hey, let's get some parfaits? They say, hell no, I don't like no parfaits. Parfaits are delicious.
No! You dense, irritating miniature beast of burden. Ogres are like onions. End of story. Bye-bye. See you later.
Parfaits may be the most delicious thing on the whole damn planet.
You know, I think I preferred your humming.
Do you have a tissue or something? Because I'm making a mess. Just the word parfait made me start slobbering.
I'm on my way from misery to happiness to thee. I'm on my way from misery to happiness to thee. I'm on my way to what I want from this world. And years from now, you'll make it to the next world. And everything that you receive up yonder is what you give to me the day I wonder. I took a right turning yesterday. Yeah, I took a right turning yesterday. I took the road that brought me to your hometown. I took the bus to streets that I could walk down. I walked the streets to find the one I looked for. I climbed the stair that led me to your front door. I my feet from jumping from the ground, dear, to keep my heart from jumping through my mouth, dear, to keep the past and not the present, to try and learn when you teach me a lesson. I know that I don't want for anything. I'd have all just and sing I'm sitting on top of the world. I'm on my way from misery to happiness today. Yeah, I'm on my way from misery to happiness today. Yeah. I'm on my way to what I want from this world. And years from now, you'll make it to the next world. And everything that you receive, I'm yours.